we're going to tie a fly called the Stew's Olive. This is a very simple emerging pattern, and it works in all types of water, but typically in flatter water it will work better just because of the nature of the materials. This time we have a curved hook. This is the Partridge shrimp hook, and again barbless, down eye, and we're now using the Semperfli wax thread in 12/0. A lot of my flies actually use the 18/0, but for this one we're going to use the thread to produce the body, so I want a slightly thicker thread material, and this is in pale olive because I want that nice almost golden olivey coloured body. And like before, but I don't start at the eye because that can get you into trouble towards the end of the fly. I'll start a few turns back from the eye and start wrapping that back. Don't cut the tag end off straight away because you can use that to help control your thread wraps going back. And then we'll take our scissors and just trim off that little tag end there and keep going back to sort of halfway around the bend of the hook, and then with these threads as they can flatten out, so I just want to tighten that up by spinning it round, and that will just give me a slightly stronger indication of that colour. And I want touching turns going forward, which can take a bit of a hand getting used to doing, but the great thing is just by wrapping the thread back and forward, once down, once up, that's produced our body for this fly. And I like to personally add a little bit of that pearl tinsel that we used to rib the previous fly in at this stage, and this is very simply a little tag to look like a section of the wing bud of the natural fly just exploding out, and I'm just going to leave that tag facing backwards there, and it doesn't stand out very much on the finished fly, but I do believe it makes a difference. So leave that in there, and I've also taken the thread up roughly to just past where we started the fly, and now we're going to select some CDC feathers to create our wing material. So on this particular fly I'm just going to find 3 feathers that are all roughly the same. You can never find 3 that you exactly like quickly, but it will do just fine. And then you want to marry them up so they're all caved the same direction and that the tips all match at the top. So I've got 3 fibres matched together there. Hold them on the stem and just stroke them forward. By doing that, it creates a sort of shuttlecock like effect, and then roughly just shy, you can lengthen it off to, if you want it, just shy of the body length, and like how we were trapping the tail in, pop it on the eye of the hook there, thread up through the thumb and forefinger, slip that down couple of locking turns, and then a few turns going back. Leave that in place there, and then take the thread just in front of it. That will help lock it and kick it up a little. And we want to take this all the way back to where that pearly tag just sticks out. Lift it up and cut it slightly long, so you just have a little puffed out bit there. And now, so we've got the body, that little explosion of the wing bud, and we're going to add in the thorax, which is where the legs and the rest of the wing bud will open up. And here we just have a natural hare's ear blend in natural colour, so a greyish colour, and like all the other dubbings, just loose. We want those guard hairs to stick out a little bit, and we can just build our thorax up there, stroke it back, stroke that wing back as well, so it looks like everything's just exploded out as the fly's hatching off. And we can put a few turns in front that will help hold that up, and just go in with the whip finish tool, couple of locking turns. And the reason why we didn't start the thread at the front is it can sometimes just make you tie the fly a little bit too far forward, and then it makes finishing the fly really challenging. So there's our 2 securing whip finish. And go in again with that open V and the scissors, and just push the thread out. And there we have it, an adaptation of the Stew's olive, and that sits just like that in the water. So that little pearly bit will sit subsurface, the water will be here, so it looks like the fly just breaking out from the surface. And the reason why we use emerger patterns is to trout really hone in on this stage of the fly, and during daytime fishing this fly is really effective, and the great thing is really simple to tie, so if you throw a few up the trees you're not completely beside yourselves. So there we have it, the Stew's olive.